Sometimes, as we get over a certain age, we women can start to feel invisible. This can then lead not to caring so much about our appearance and maybe dressing just for comfort and not dressing in a way that makes us feel like we are fully representing our best selves to the world. So, in this week's Thin Thinking episode, fashion consultant Ginger Burr and I discuss this and the fact that times are changing and we don't need to trade comfort for style. And we definitely do not need to be invisible now, do we? Especially to ourselves. So join me for this eye opening conversation. Grab your clothes hangers and come on in. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Sound good? Let's get started. Hello, come on in. I am just back from being away up in the mountains. And it was a great break. Lots of nature, lots of family time, and I feel rejuvenated and ready to head into fall. And I think I've mentioned like 100 times that I'm turning 60 in a few weeks, and I couldn't be more excited. But I also have been processing a lot about what it means to age mentally, physically, and spiritually. And it brings up a lot, especially with my kids being out of the house, not out of my pocketbooks, mind you. When does that happen? But also, my husband retired a few years back, and I am not doing that. I'm planning to keep going with what I do for a long time. So I'm looking at what this chapter of my life is going to look like. And one thing I know for sure is I would like to look the best that I can while doing it. So that is where the lovely Ms. Ginger Burr comes in. She and I had an amazing conversation about dressing ourselves and feeling good in our clothes as we age. And I cannot wait to share it with you. Creating a wardrobe and personal style you love begins with a longing for ease and beauty, your definition of beauty, every time you get dressed. Ginger Burr founded Total Image Consultants with the heartfelt belief that whether you are 25 or 85, you deserve to feel radiant, pulled together every time you get dressed. Her work has reached women from all walks of life who long to connect with their inner essence to create a wardrobe they love. She is the author of the book, That's So You, Create a Look You Love with Beauty, Style, and Grace. Ginger has been interviewed by Allure magazine, Forbes magazine, Fox News, and Bloomberg Business Week. And let's just welcome the lovely Miss Ginger Burr. Well, welcome back to Thin Thinking Podcast, Ginger. It's so great to have you back.
Oh, thank you, Rita.
I was trying to remember when I had you on before because we had such a great discussion about dressing for your weight. And so if anybody wants information on that, they can go back and look at that. We'll probably cover a little bit of that here today. But Ginger is an amazing. Well, I'm going to have you tell everybody how you help people because how you help people is so cool.
Thank you. Well, I've been doing this for a really long time as an image consultant, and I just to let everybody know, I became an image consultant because I struggled myself with how to get dressed in a way that made me feel self-confident back in my teens and my 20s when most people are like, yeah, I can throw anything on and feel great. That wasn't me. And and then I met someone who was offering a 3-day workshop, and she taught me about color and style and makeup and all of that in a way that was so accessible and answered the questions that I had, been dying to have answered. And I realized that it was my calling, that I picked it up quickly. I loved it. And I can help other women. I saw it as a form, I felt empowered. And I saw it as a form of empowering women to feel really good about themselves
Yes.
and get some of those questions answered, because fashion and style is not as straightforward as everybody wants to believe that it is. And so I dove in. I begged her to train me. She did. And I've never looked back. I've been doing it for a really long time.
That's amazing. And you guys should all know that Ginger came to me through a referral from one of my clients who went through your Create Personal Style workshop. And she said that it wasn't just about how to dress yourself and feel fabulous, but it really was more of a confidence and just a self-esteem as well. Like she ended up feeling fantastic after she went through your course about herself, just in general.
It's about expressing who you are. I mean,
Yeah.
really, if I went out there and I could dress everybody like me. But that would not feed everyone's soul, and the goal is to feel, when you look in the mirror, to feel like, yes, this is me. Oh, I feel so great. And for me, that's fun. I want to get in your head. I want to get a sense of who you are. And then
Yeah.
let's create a wardrobe around that expresses your essence. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm still passionate about it after all these years.
Yeah, that's so great. Well, I wanted to have Ginger on because I'm this sort of towards the end of August as I approach the age of 60, um, the tender age of 60. I wanted to really explore something that other clients have been coming to me about is just like feeling good in our body, feeling good in ourselves as we age. I think one thing that most women will say is after a certain age, they maybe start to feel a bit invisible
Mhm.
and which is really sad. And I think we should be visible to ourselves, especially. And I think what you do really helps you define, who you are and so that you are like aligning with yourself at least visibly and putting yourself out in the world in a powerful way. But I'm curious because you work with so many women, what you see in the psyche of women and how they dress themselves. And do you find that as we get older, we tend to align with that invisibility, like we kind of dress, or do you feel, I mean, I would just, I'm not going to try to put words in your mouth. So, what do you see? And, because you help women from all ages, right? Uh,
Well, the majority of my clients are over 40, although right now with color analysis being so viral, I had a 19-year-old here the other day. So you never know. It's just
cool.
very heartening to me that, the younger people are seeing the value of, really looking at this in their wardrobe and how they feel and what they're wearing. But as we age, I mean, it's a sad commentary on our world out there that as we age, we begin to feel more invisible, and that, I mean, the fashion industry ignores us. They totally ignore us, or they give us things that make us feel like we're 110 years old. And you just look at those things
Yeah.
and go, that's what you want me to wear? Like, no. No, I mean, it's a different world. I remember many years ago how women looked as they got older. Societally, it was different. I had an aunt who, when she was 50, I mean, she looked 50 when she was 30. By our
Yes.
standards now, but back then, you were very demure, you were very um uh just she looked like Queen
Blend
Elizabeth.
into the background, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And these days, we want to be ourselves. We want to be able to
Right.
stand out. Most of us, I mean, I'm in my late 60s, and if someone asks me, I would think, oh yeah, I'm like 37. You know? It's in my head. That's how I feel. And I don't want to feel invisible, but I think just to come back to what you were saying about the whole invisibility thing too, is that things change in our lives. Our bodies, you know better than anybody. Our
Right.
This is what you work with women on. Our bodies change, whether we gain weight, lose weight, shift. Our bodies can just shift. Our weight might not change at all, but our bodies shift. And
Yes.
things aren't as firm as they used to be. And so the things that we put on when we were in our 20s or maybe even 30s just don't seem to feel right anymore. And maybe our lifestyle changes. I mean, so many women I'm working with are either leaving corporate jobs to start their own business, or they're retiring, or they're traveling a lot. And those things require different needs in their wardrobe. But if they don't feel confident being able to dress the body that they have, I think that then leads to more of that invisibility complex. And
Hmm.
I think we need to take back our power for sure. And that's what I hope to do. And I know you hope to do with women all the time, is empower them.
Yes, absolutely. I went and saw Madonna a couple of months ago. I'm in LA, and I got friend was like, I've got tickets to Madonna tonight. You want to go see her? I was like, hell yes. And it's just amazing to watch someone like that who I think she's 65, I want to say, but the way she moved on stage, she wore about, I don't know how many. One of them was this skin tight silver sort of like spacesuit. She looked fabulous in it. She, keeps herself in good shape. But yeah, she was not plain demure at all. She was
No.
just like as Madonna as she ever was. And yeah, so it was interesting to see how she also, because I always see her as a trailblazer, love her or hate her, she's a trailblazer and she's not afraid to speak out. And I see, we do see now cultural icons who are not, I think back in the day, like in the 50s and 60s, even older actresses, they would kind of fade away, into this, and wouldn't see them around. But now, we have our cultural icons who are as big and bold as they ever are, and dressing really well and looking fantastic. I mean, you open Us magazine or People magazine, they have all these women in their gowns and stuff. And some of them, those women are 60, 70-year-olds who look fantastic, but they've got dressers, they've got it's a stylist who is making them look fantastic. So what do we do? How do we, I guess we have to become, right, Ginger? This is what you help us do, is like become our own stylist to be able to look at ourselves. And so what do you think, like for somebody who is like me, I'm turning 60 this year, and you're absolutely right, things are settling, and I've been at my ideal weight now for a very long time, almost 29 years. But things have shifted, so I agree with you. I'm working against it, doing weight training, but like things shift and your body changes. So what would be some first steps, in kind of like owning yourself and kind of starting to think about, like, well, if I didn't want to fade into the, my wardrobe and it, where would you start with that? Is that too broad of a question?
It's broad, but we'll unpeel it here. We'll get
Okay.
to it all. You know, the first thing is that we have to stop comparing ourselves to, first of all, to younger women or our younger self, which is very easy to do. And also to women, kind of like Madonna, whose body still probably looks, at least with all the clothes that she had on that were skin tight and all
Right.
that, looks a lot like she did when she was 30.
Right.
Because if one of the things I hear with women all the time, and I suspect you do too, is everything settle around the tummy.
Yeah.
And again, even if weight hasn't changed, they tend to be a little thicker and less of a waist. And when that happens, the clothes again that they used to wear don't work. So the first thing you want to do is, bless your body as well as
Mm,
and look at, okay, see it as an opportunity to try new things. Because a lot of times what I hear from women is they just sort of, okay, I'm just going to wear athleisure, or I'm just going to wear, the same t-shirt and jeans that I always wear because it's safe. And I want to encourage women not to play it so safe. Let's try some new things and see what your body likes, and how, because everybody, no matter what's going on with their body, can look and feel, it's about feeling, look and feel amazing. But you have to explore new possibilities.
Mm,
And that can feel overwhelming. And that's, where I come in. That's where I can say, okay, hey, go try this style, or here's
mhm.
why that didn't work as much. If it were 2 inches longer or 3 inches shorter or whatever it might be, it would be perfect. Or, though you would feel better in it. So it's exploring those possibilities and not expecting that you just throw something on and it's going to be perfect as is. That doesn't happen for me. And I've been pretty much the same weight for many years. And people think I can wear anything. I cannot. And I show people in my 6-week class, I show them pictures. I put on an outfit that there's a model there wearing the same outfit and I'm wearing it. It's like, see, I would never
Uh,
ever wear that anywhere because it looks terrible. I feel terrible in it. So
right.
the number one thing is start exploring new things, but you want to do it with a plan, because if you just start throwing new things at yourself, you're going to be
Mm,
overwhelmed. You're going to not know why something doesn't work or how you could make it work. So it's really, about trying new things. And of course, paying attention to the things that maybe need to be updated a little, because fashion and style doesn't hold still forever. And we can talk about that too if you want, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, definitely. I was thinking about my daughter who is now 22, and she's right now, as we speak, she's with her grandmother in Florida, and her grandmother took her out and she went shopping. And my daughter is so funny because unlike my generation where we all hated ourselves and hated our body, her generation, they really embrace their bodies, their curves, and all that stuff, which is super awesome. My daughter wears the shortest dresses ever, and my mother-in-law was like, she turned her around. I was like, I would have never, but my mother-in-law was like, "You're not wearing this to the," she's British. She's like, "You're not wearing that to the theater." Go. She grabbed an outfit out of her closet and gave to my daughter. My daughter actually loved the outfit. She was like, "Can I have this, Granny?" So anyway, but I was looking at this picture of my short daughter, and I remember the British term because I lived in England for a couple of years, mutton dressed as lamb.
Yeah.
And that is, when you're talking about like feeling good and owning your body and everything too, but like also kind of right sizing where you are in your life, and not and I don't mean not dressing youthfully, because I think dressing youthfully is absolutely fine, but just like being clear on yeah, what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about color, like like you were saying, well, let's go and have a method, like let's have a game plan. Like, is one of the first things that you look at is, like you mentioned, a color chart. Is like, do you think color is important as we age? Like, and how would you change colors? Like, would you say that it's important to change colors, like from a youthful like palette to a more I don't know. I mean, now that I'm saying it, it sounds silly, but would you change colors? Like, like if I was an autumn, I would always be an autumn, but would I change the autumn tones if I was between 30 and 60?
So your colors, I am a big proponent of wearing colors that look great on you, and I always have been. And I was trained originally in color analysis with the seasons. I now do something that's more personalized and customized. But I think color is the basis of building one's foundation, wardrobe foundation. And it's not so much that the colors change as you get older because of your age. this is gonna, well, it is and it isn't. It's not because, oh yes, anybody who is 60 should wear these colors. It's more that your coloring changes. Like today I had a woman here, we were doing color analysis, and she, as so many women during the pandemic did, she let her hair go natural. Gorgeous, silvery, white. Oh my gosh, stunning hair, beautiful hairstyle. And she realized that the colors she was wearing before, just they weren't working anymore. They were
Mm,
overpowering her because now her coloring is softer and cooler. As we get older, if we
mm,
let our hair go natural into grays, whites, whatever might be happening with your hair, it cools everything. So if you were in autumn before, you'll still have some autumn tones in there because most likely your skin is very warm. But you'll also get some cooler tones in there as well, and they might get brighter. They might get, this woman though, lots of people think, oh, as I get older, I should either get brighter or I should get lighter pastelly. And
mm,
not necessarily. You put pastels on some women who have, gray um, or white hair, and they'll just disappear completely. I mean,
mm.
I'm not a huge fan of a lot of pastels anyway. So it's really that our own coloring dictates what colors work for us. And yes, if you had your colors done 30 years ago, you need to have them done again. Because
Really?
chances are now, every once in a while, there's someone whose hair just never turns gray. But either your hair has turned gray or you're coloring it. And either one of those things is going to change your palette a little bit.
Right, because you're probably coloring your hair lighter
Well,
too,
you
more
never,
than,
yeah, usually you cannot get exactly particularly if your hair was brown, you cannot get your natural color, and you may not want it because sometimes for some women, they were very dark brown. And you put that on, your skin as it starts to age, it's going to feel harsh. So
yeah,
usually the colors get a little warmer and
yeah,
at least a tiny bit lighter. I'm not always, but a lot of times. So you have to adjust your colors for that.
yeah. Interesting. Okay, cool. What about accessories? Like or maybe before accessories, like what about lines? Like, do you see women, because we have more stuff going around our neck area? The neck seems to be an area where we're all like either trying to hide or make it look longer, or,
Yeah.
like and arms, because my grandmother had I used to play with the flab on her arms, and now I'm getting that same like
It doesn't matter how much you
black.
exercise, that is
Yes,
just,
I
it doesn't
know.
have the elasticity that it used to have. So yeah.
I know. So yeah, like those parts of our body that, look, I embrace my arm wings, but maybe there are things that I can do that will I'm not hide them, but just like accentuate what's working well for me, and accentuate the things that are, you know, making the change.
Yeah. Okay. A lot to unpack there. So it's all
Sorry,
good. It's all
Ginger.
good.
I know. And
So,
you thought you were just coming on for a simple
oh
interview.
no,
No,
this
no.
is fun. This is all fun. What happens a lot of times is when women don't know what to do with their bodies, they just throw fabric at their bodies.
Oh, it's true.
Black. They throw fabric and they throw black because black is
Uh-huh.
straight, right? Well, not always, and it's not the only option. But so they end up with too much fabric on, or things that are just too long,
Yeah.
and pull the eye down and feel heavy. And black can be, you'll never see me wearing black on top, ever, ever. I occasionally
Mhm.
wear it on the bottom because it was so hard to find brown for a long time. But so those are two things. And my thinking always is, let's look at your body and let's readjust some of those styles. Let's do things that kind of skim the body. Let's look at where things should end on your body to balance your body vertically, which is why I do something called the Fashion Fit Formula, which people can go to my website and check that out if they want. But it is such a valuable tool. And the other thing, it drives me crazy. In fact, if you go to my social media, my YouTube, you'll find a video that I did there about when growing up, my friends and I used to call this underarm dingle dangle. And yes, yes, no matter what, you end up with underarm dingle dangle unless you have a liposuction. And so what happens is women put on, you know, either like some kind of sleeve, even a cap sleeve, and cap sleeves balance nobody's body. But
Mm,
that's what they want to give us out there are the stupid cap sleeves. Or what women do is they'll put on this really pretty sleeveless dress and then they wreck it by putting something over it. Like, don't put something over that. Wear it sleeveless. Embrace your arms. Trust me, you look way better with a sleeveless top than you do with something that's frumpy and just on you to cover your arms. If that's,
right.
wear a dress with sleeves so that, you're not hiding the beauty of the dress by some thing that doesn't even go with what you've got that you've got on to go over your dress. So the whole arm thing drives me crazy because we really it's a part of our body. We can just embrace it. No one is looking at your arms except you. So,
Exactly.
just go with it. Just go with it. So
Yes.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. I've often wondered about that, and I've been guilty of covering up my arms sometimes. So I'm glad I can just be bold. Ginger gave
Yes.
me permission. I'm gonna let my dingle
Absolutely.
dangle dingle.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
So what about like but things too tight, too like so you say skim the body because often like you said we're like swimming in fabric versus like but also probably not too tight either.
Yeah, most of us don't want, first of all, anything too tight is not that comfortable. And I'll tell you right now, particularly as we get older, we want comfort. And
Yes.
actually the younger generation is also, they're screaming for comfort as well. But we want to be comfortable. So, anything tight doesn't feel comfortable. Now, the one thing I will encourage people to do right now is to consider, because it's so in style and it tends to have a more current look, is to think about tucking, that nasty word that as we get older, worrying about our tummies, we don't want to think about tucking. And, there are so many different ways to tuck now. You can tuck and blouse out, you can just front tuck. I like to tuck and then put a jacket over it so
Mm,
that I don't even have to think about what's going on, around the tummy area, but it elongates the leg line and it feels very current for what's going on there. It goes really well with the wider legged pants, which are very in style. And so another way to try something new and, but in terms of things that are just glued to your body, some people like that. And if you do, then have fun with it. But mostly I find when we just sort of skim the body, it feels comfortable and it looks really pretty.
yeah, very good advice. So and then accessories. Do you find accessories change as we get older? Or like what would be your advice? Like big hoop earrings that you might have worn when you were 25 or 30 or 40, when you're 60, is that going to, well, first of all, your earlobes are going to go down to your shoulders, but like jewelry, belts, scarves, things like that. What are your thoughts on those things?
I love accessories, and accessories are a way to add visual interest to your outfit. They are a way to express, I call it your inner beauty, that part of you that is your
Hmm.
essence. It's another way to be able to do that. It's less about what is right for a particular age. There is no right for a particular age when it comes to accessories. It's more about what's current.
Mm,
And then within what's current, what feels like you. So I
mm.
tend to be, these are actually very little for me. I like big earrings, but I wanted to wear this necklace. So I put it, and I like these that I'm wearing.
You look
So
very put together. I
thank
love
you.
it.
Thank you. But so big hoops, if
Mhm.
that is part of your essence and who you are, and it makes you feel amazing to wear them, you can get some that are super light so they won't pull your earlobes way
Right.
down. go with the giant hoops if they make you happy. What's not in right now are really giant, chunky necklaces, unless you're like Iris Apfel, in which case, you're just like over the top with everything, and that's part of your personality, and it's part of how the rest of your outfit looks. But you don't want to just put on a very classic look and then put a giant necklace with it right now, particularly giant crystals and things. Those were in a number of years ago. They're not in right now. And be careful about really matchy. Like, I do own earrings that are the same as this necklace. I won't wear them with the necklace because I
Mm,
always have something that just sort of is, related, but to the outfit, but not exactly like the necklace. That's a little bit of a dated look. Scarves are always, even though they may not be, super trendy, scarves are always in. And, then it's a matter of knowing how to tie them, which is a whole other story. But yeah, I think accessories are fabulous, and a great way to have fun and add some interest to your outfit.
love it. So now I know shoes are also considered an accessory, but what do you think about shoes as you age? Because again, obviously our feet want to feel good.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends who, used to wear 2-inch heels, 3-inch heels, and now we're all wearing tennis shoes
Right.
to
Yeah, I know
mix.
exactly. Hey, I still wear 3-inch heels, but
Good
they're
for you.
but well, I like them and I'm comfortable in them. I don't do spiky,
Mm,
stiletto type things. Those are not really in, except maybe if you're going out to something really dressy and you want to wear really spiky heels. But um yeah, shoes. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, let me just back up for 1 second because there's one accessory I just want to mention for a minute, and that's eyeglasses. I have
oh
new
yeah.
I have new
You look
eyeglasses.
very cute. I wish you guys could all see Ginger. She looks really cute. Well, if you're watching this on social media, you are. But anyway.
Well, these are falling apart. So I have new ones on order. They just aren't here yet. They're very cool. I can't wait to get them. Um, but you want to make sure your eyeglasses are current. One of the things that will make you feel older and age you is out of style glasses frames. So make sure that
Mm,
your glasses are in style, but make sure they fit you properly. I see so many people who have eyeglasses on that they don't fit them properly. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So shoes. When I created the class Create Your Personal Style in 6 weeks, I looked at the areas where women struggle a lot, and shoes was huge. It's class number 4
yes.
in that, because there are so many different pant lengths, widths, styles, shapes, that what the heck do you do for shoes? And as you mentioned, as we get older, our feet are one of the places where we're like, I'm not putting up with foot pain, particularly if you did it when you're like in your 30s, or you're like, or now you have bunions or something
Back
going into your
issues.
feet that just makes them painful. You want something comfortable. And so bless us with these wonderful sneakers, trainers, whatever you want to call them. Just make sure they're they're in style, that they're fashionable. You don't want the big clunky, running
Right.
workout sneakers. And you don't want the little ones that have like no shape. I won't mention the name, but you want, they're everywhere, the other ones, and they will go with almost, you can wear them with dresses these days if you want.
Yes.
And the tricky thing then is like, what socks do you wear? That's a whole trend, believe it or not, that you probably want to pay attention to. But yes, sneakers will go everywhere. But the thing I see with women in shoes is that when they have some pain in their feet, they'll say, I can only wear this. Now, 99% of the time, that is not true.
Mm,
What has happened is they haven't explored all the possibilities out there. And one of the things I do in my 6-week class is I encourage women to send me their favorite resources. I have this long list of shoe brands so that women can go and go, oh, I've never tried that one. Oh, I've never tried that one. I've never tried that one.
mm,
And most of the time, they can find another brand and style that will meet the needs of their feet, but they haven't known about it before.
right. So
Um,
you're talking about like a more comfortable or a brand that isn't, that Well, that's more suitable. It's a more comfort style brand, but that is fashionable, looks good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times they're like, I can only wear these clunky sneakers. It's like, there
Hmm.
are other options out there. No, I have one client who has the worst feet issues I've ever seen. And we start like 2 years in advance as her shoes start to wear out to start to find new ones because it's so hard for her feet.
Oh,
But
wow.
most people can find other options. They just don't know what those other options or brands are out there, or they've given up. But there are
Hmm.
always new things coming out. And so if you want comfort and style, you can find it. It's going to
Hmm.
take some legwork on your part. You are
Right.
going to have to explore either in the store or buy and return as needed. But my feeling is don't give up, because shoes, to me, shoes can make or break an outfit. And that women
Mm.
say this to me all the time, like, it looked great till I put on those shoes. So
Mm.
keep exploring. Don't give up on the shoe thing, and don't just settle for one style of shoe, because most of the time you have other options.
Very good to know. Would any of this advice change, if we were going to be dressing someone who was plus size? So somebody like it doesn't sound like that would change very much.
It doesn't change at all. The thing that I hear from women who are unhappy with their body, which usually in this case equates to weight, is that, oh, I'm not buying anything new until I lose weight. And
Mm-hmm.
I, please don't do that. I have dressed women of every size imaginable, and everyone can look and feel great. And then if you want to lose weight, or you do lose weight, or whatever it is that you want to do with your weight, great. Then you can work on that. But in the meantime, as you're going through, as you know, I mean, if you're losing weight, it's not an overnight thing. So
Yeah.
in the meantime, while you're working towards that with Rita, you want to be sure that you feel good in what you're wearing. And you don't have to buy a million things, just buy a few outfits that will get you through the time span that you need. And a lot of times those things, as your weight is shifting, they can be altered at least one size down,
Yeah.
so that it's not like you have to go out and buy everything new 1 month later. No, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big believer too, is as you're releasing weight to go and buy clothes and not have those clothes hang off you. And it's
Yes, yes, yes,
it's a
they make
recipe for
you.
disaster. Yeah.
It doesn't make you feel good about yourself ever. If your
No.
clothes are hanging on you, or if they're too tight, or if they're not fitting you properly in whichever way, you don't feel good.
Yeah. We give away lots of clothes with the shift,
Oh, yeah, that's
which is good.
awesome.
There's
That's
a lot of
awesome.
full
Yeah.
thrift stores in America and Canada and all over. Um, so what are I mean, I'm curious because again, Ginger, you and I both work with a lot of women in a lot of different age ranges. What are the biggest fears that you see with women as they age, in this area of fashion and style?
Yeah. Um, well, part of it is things that we've mentioned, like they worry about having parts of their bodies they don't love being obvious, tummies, arms, whatever it might be. They worry about feeling frumpy. They
Mm.
worry about not no longer knowing how to put an outfit together,
Mm.
particularly if maybe they've lost some height, and it
Hmm.
changes how tops in particular fit them and where waistlines fall and all of that.
Oh,
They don't
right.
know what to do with that. So they're like, nothing fits me anymore, and I don't know what to get, and I don't know how to put those outfits together. They worry about, looking um, inappropriate, either trying to be too young, or like they're dressing too old, but they don't, sometimes it's hard to figure out like what's in the middle. And they also, where so many stores have disappeared during the pandemic, where to shop, where to shop. And so I can't tell you how many times women will say to me, can you tell me where to go to find things that suit my style? Like, no. I mean, I can, where I can get everything. That's mostly what they want, where I can just go in and shop and buy everything. Like, no. I used to be able to take clients to Lord and Taylor And in maybe 3 hours, we'd have everything they needed for the season.
Wow.
That doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't happen anymore. So you have to be willing to try different places. But it's all about, it's mostly worry about their bodies and, exposing something that will, this is not the word I would use, but I've heard my clients use this, that would offend others to see it. And that breaks my heart, that they would
Yeah.
think that something that they're wearing and that they're exposing will, cause other people. And I do blame part of that on society and the media
Yes.
and all of that, making women feel badly about their
Yeah.
bodies as they age and glorifying keeping your body looking like it's 20.
Yeah.
And I think that's sad. Sad
Yeah.
stuff.
It is sad. And hopefully our generation is helping things change, by embracing
Yes.
aging. Well,
Yes.
seriously, I think our generation is embracing it more. And I don't think people are, shying away as much as they did in our, like my mother's generation for sure. Um, what do you think are the biggest gifts you see of aging for women in the world of fashion and, just in general? Like, what do you see women embracing and feeling good about?
I see them embracing that they don't care so well. I mean, this isn't true for everybody, but
Right.
as they begin to feel more comfortable with themselves as they age, they don't care what other people think. Like, I'm going to wear
Mm,
what I want to wear, and that's once they can identify what it is that they want to wear. I don't care what other people think about me. So they're less likely to be um, taken in by someone who's being mean-spirited or, any of that. They're like, this is me. But it
right.
sometimes takes a while. I'm in awe of the people who are just naturally like that. But, for the rest of us, once we find a way to present ourselves that feels like us, we don't care so much what other people think.
Yes, I definitely think that's true. Very good. So I have this question. Somebody wrote to me, and this is something that hits home with a lot of people in my community, which is when we were younger and we were struggling with weight, we didn't wear clothes that were like maybe really fashionable or, because we were hiding in the black. Ironically, I am wearing a black shirt today with a nice scarf over it, but I was like,
But you look
oh,
good.
Ginger is going to be so mad at me for wearing black.
You look good.
Thank you. Um, but now that they're older, they're really upset with themselves. Like, why didn't I? Because now I can't wear those things and or shouldn't wear those things. And then, oh man, they're just like beating themselves up and so much regret about like missed opportunities. And that is something that's, sad. And what would you say to somebody like that? Like, how could they turn that around for themselves so that they could feel, it like to let the past go and, but bring it into the future.
Yeah. And that's the key, is to bring that mindset into the future, because we can, let's say you're 50 and you're looking back, "Ugh, gosh, why didn't I just embrace, the firmness of my body or whatever your weight was or whatever at the time. And now, things are like this and I can't wear what I, wished I'd been able to, wished I had worn back then. But so now you're aware of that, don't let another 10 years or 20 years go by. "Ugh, when I was 50, why didn't
Right.
I, really appreciate my body and dress in a way that really felt, why was I still hiding it?" And, and it could be for different reasons. If maybe your weight has changed, but now your body's getting older and things aren't as firm as they used to be, and now you're trying to hide things for a different reason, whatever it might be. Embrace where you are now. And I promise everyone can look amazing. And it has nothing to do with, it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. And that's easier. I know that's easier said than done. but we have to appreciate where we are now. And I think that that then allows us to move forward and not have those regrets you were mentioning. So 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, we can look back and go, yeah, hey, I was rocking it when I was 50 or 60 or 40 or
Yeah.
whatever it might
Yeah.
be. So, it is easy to look back. I mean, I look back when I was 20 and I was very thin, but I didn't feel good in what I was wearing because it didn't express who I was.
Mm,
And I think, oh, if only I had known. And I'm like, but you know now.
you
So just,
do.
yeah,
You
just
absolutely do. Well, this has been great, Ginger. So I'm sure there are a lot of people in my audience who now want to hear a little bit about this every September 25th coming up. You have a new course starting, Create Your Personal Style. Uh, it's a 6-week course. Tell us a little bit about your course.
So as I mentioned, when the pandemic hit, I had always wanted to create a class where I was online, where I was there teaching it live, because style is very personal and questions come up. And so just to say here, watch these classes and go, with such a broad topic, it just doesn't work. So because, I couldn't see anybody at the time, I had time to create this class and I looked at where were women struggling. And so I created a class around each one of these topics. Who are you? And how do you express who you are? First of all, how do you determine who you are at your essence? Nothing to do with your fashion, with your wardrobe, but who are you? And then how do you express that in your clothing? How do you create a good foundation in your wardrobe, particularly if what you want is a capsule wardrobe or you're thinking more minimally, which a lot of people are right now. How do you create a good foundation to build on that so that you can easily get dressed and mix and match? How do you how do you choose prints and bring in visual interest into your outfit, because neutrals by themselves can get super boring. How do you shoes? We talked about class number 4 is shoes. Class number 5 is jewelry. How do you accessorize in jewelry in a way that, is who you are and add some beauty to your outfit? And then class number 6 is sort of pulling it all together. And I am there. I encourage women in the class to ask questions. All through every class, usually it means sending a picture, because if somebody says to me, oh, do I look good in a V-neck? I'm like, I don't know. What kind of V-neck is it? I have to see the V-neck. Do I look good in this color? I don't know. I need to see it on you. Those kinds of things. But only the people in the class see any of those photos anyway. But I am there and I can answer all of your questions fully so that you can feel more confident moving forward. And it's a lot of fun. We have a lot. And even if you can't make the classes live, you get the recording the next day so you can watch them and send questions for the next class. So it's really a blast. We have a good time.
It sounds like an amazing class. And like I said, Ginger was a referral from somebody who took this class. So it seems like an amazing class. Well, the link is in the show notes, everybody. And so please go check it out. And we'll put your website there too, Ginger, if you wanted. You said there was another uh, uh what's the word? Asset, like something that they could look at to who said, go check it out on my website
Oh,
earlier.
fashion. You're talking about the Fashion Fit formula.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
You can check that out there. And I talk about that in class number 2 because it's it can be part of creating a foundation. But yeah, people can check that out on my website.
I love that. Okay. Well, thank you for all your wisdom and knowledge. This is really great. I'm looking forward to 60 now that I have your sage advice.
You'll be a fabulous 60 Rita.
Bring in 60 back. I keep saying that. Okay.
So,
Um, well, thank you, Ginger. And this has been amazing. And we will look forward to having you back on the Thin Thinking podcast for more knowledge soon. Thank you so much, Ginger. I always love it when we have you on, and I always feel ready and inspired to go freshen my wardrobe up. And especially now that I'm turning 60, I think I deserve to go get a few new pieces and accessories too. So make sure that you visit the show notes where we have a link to Ginger's upcoming course and also a link to her website. And make sure you subscribe to the Thin Thinking podcast where you can get your weekly weight mastery mindset fix. Have a great week. And remember that the key, and probably the only key to unlocking the door of the weight struggle, is inside you. So keep listening and find it. I will see you here next week. Thanks for listening to the Thin Thinking Podcast. Did that episode go by way too fast for you? If so, and you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term weight release, head on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com, where you'll find numerous tools and resources to help you unlock your mind for permanent weight release, tips, strategies, and more. And be sure to check the show notes to learn more about my book, From Fat to Thin Thinking, Unlock Your Mind for Permanent Weight Loss, and to learn how to subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss an episode.